Hey Grace Kids families, it's me, Pastor Scott, and starting this week, you're going to see me, Pastor Danielle, and Pastor Kate every single week because we're going to be teaching you this week's lesson. So I'm going to start us off each week with a Bible riddle. So are you ready for the week 1 Bible riddle? What time of day did God create Adam? Just before Eve. You're welcome. See you next week.
Hey friends, Pastor Kate here, and I get to do the memory verse with you all month long. So this month our memory verse is Joshua 1:9, and let's do the motions together. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. Isn't that great? Let's do it one more time. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. So our Bible story today is found in Judges 4 and 5.
That's right. And you know what? I love to know the end of the story sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
And in this story, you definitely want to pay attention to the end because at the end, there's a guy who gets a really bad headache.
A splitting headache, some might say.
A splitting headache, yeah. You cannot handle it with Tylenol or Excedrin or anything else.
Nope.
Okay, so tell us, Pastor Kate, what happened?
So, Israel was oppressed by a king called Jabin.
Oh, King Jabin, bad news.
Yeah, for 20 years. That's older than most of our kids, right?
Absolutely, I hope so.
Yeah, and so his commander, Sisera, who led a powerful army with 900 iron chariots. Have you ever seen
No,
that many
I would be
chariots?
afraid if that army was coming after me with 900 chariots.
No.
So there was a lady, okay, she was a prophetess and a judge, and her name was?
Deborah!
Yeah, and God used her, and she reached out to a man named Barak. And she said, hey, Barak, I want you to go, and you're actually going to defeat them.
Yeah, and Barak is like, sure, but only if you come with me because I need a friend.
Yeah, I need somebody who's going to be on my side. And so, sure enough, he took 10,000 men. They went to the battle of Mount Tabor.
Yes,
right?
yes,
And they
yes.
got there, and Sisera's army, they got very, very confused.
Yeah, they were so confused, in fact, that Sisera fled on foot and sought refuge at a tent where this woman was living named Jael.
Oh, that's right. And when he fell asleep in her tent, this is where the story gets interesting.
Yeah, Jael made sure that he didn't wake up.
Oh, she gave him a really bad headache, and it's pretty
Yeah.
bad. So if you can read, you want to read the story for yourself in Judges 4 and 5, you'll find out what happened. But we find out through that story that God can use anyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's really cool about this, too, is that Deborah told Barak that someone else, a woman, was going to take care of it and was going to conquer.
So she actually prophesied a woman was actually going to take care of the problem, and she did.
Yeah, and so just like how God used Jael, God can use us. He can work through unlikely people.
Yes, he can, and that was today's big idea. All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, we are at the end of our video, which means it's time for Family Connection with Pastor Danielle. So grab your family, go get them, make sure they're all with you. All right, we have some questions that we can ask as a family. Are you ready? All right, the first one is, can you name someone you know God has worked through? What did they do? All right, now that we've talked about that one, our second one is, what thoughts or emotions come to mind when you think about God working through you? Because he has. So I want you to take a minute and think about a time that he did that. How did it feel? What did you think about? All right, now when you're done talking about those questions as a family, I want you to go grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Or you're going to sit in a circle with your family and write your name at the top. And then you're going to pass that paper to the right. Now look at the new name on top of that paper. And I want you to think for a minute. What is something that God has done through that person or could do through that person this week? Go ahead and write it down or draw a picture of it as an encouragement to them. Wait till everybody is done, and then you're going to pass the paper to the right, look at the top, see the new name, and do it again until your own paper comes back to you. Then throughout this week, Read through that piece of paper and think about all of the ways that God can use you this week to reach your family, your neighbors, and your community. Because just as we learned today, God can use unlikely people. He can use you too.